Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the next matchup here. Mario Mercado, the 3 seed, taking on Momo Zalata. 3 versus 6. Todd, Dean Bear with Todd Boss from bossconsulting.com. So, Todd, 3 versus 6, is there a big difference? Everyone always says, like the 4-5 is always a great matchup. It's usually extremely even. If I look back to a lot of Tier 1 quarterfinals, some of the 4-5 matches were monsters, 5 gamers, 2 hours. Is a 3-6, is it a little bit of an easier matchup?
3-6 has not been historically as close as the 4-5. And the 3-6 here that we're faced is going to be a little different from your typical 3-6 match on tour because the two players involved. So our 3 seed here, Mario Mercado, it's a long time, not maybe a long time, but he's been a fixture in the top 10 on tour for a number of years now. The number 6 seed in this tournament has never really broached or never really challenged for the top 10 on tour. So they're both good players, but there's definitely a distinct talent difference between the two.
Can I chime in here, Todd? So I'm going to give you the reasoning, I think, why Momo has not been able to take that step. And he always used to travel on a bus. He used to work he works the event, T-shirts, this and that. And I had a long talk with him last summer. I was like, if you need to pick one. Like, it's either business or you want to get better in racquetball. And in order for you to improve, your focus needs to be in one spot, not in 3.
Sure. That's a totally fair point. But to his credit, he has built up an excellent brand. He's one of your sponsors, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Love
Momo.
With the Formula Flow brand. And, and he basically competes to the best of his ability based on the fact that he's building a small business. And as those who do small businesses know, sometimes it is a 80, 90-hour-a-week job.
I actually,
Nice
do
shot.
you know how high up Mario was? I don't know if he was ever 5 or 6, but he was always in the 7-8 range.
A lot of times the 7-8. I believe he's made at least one, perhaps 2, Tier 1 finals in his career. To answer these questions, I usually depend on being right in front of my computer, but so I'm going a little bit from memory. But no, I don't believe he's ever been higher than maybe 5 or 6. On the site I do have a cool report that's called highest ever seed for a player, so we can quickly look up the highest he's ever even been seeded in an event, and you can also look at all his year-end rankings. On the website, there's a player section that you can pull down the player, and you can get all kinds of interesting stats on a per player basis. So while we're sitting here, I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, I didn't check the score with, what was that? Someone dropped the phone from the top. I think it was.
It was from the next court. The streaming on the next court.
Jerry's trying to set up some better stuff over there.
Oops. I hate to see that. All right. So Mario's career best year-end ranking was 7. And
I said 7-8 range.
7-8. Yeah, he finished the 2017-18 season ranked 7th. For 5 straight seasons, he was in the top 10.
That's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah. Two career finals. Never broke through with a win, which is hard to do in the Kane
One
era.
against Kane. One of those finals was against Kane in Wisconsin.
Yeah. And the highest he's ever been seeded in an event is
it's Tier 1.
He's been a 5 seed a number of times.
And because of the flip draw.
Because of the flip draw,
I would think. So Mercado sporting the team head apparel, and Momo sporting a Formula Flow prototype racket.
Is he doing his own rackets?
Your thoughts there?
That
yes.
is cool. It is good to see more equipment, more people participating in the space.
Well,
so I say bravo.
I mean, for those of you who don't know, Mario and Momo are both from Bolivia. Huge racquetball influence there. And to be honest, he's got an outlet of selling product in Bolivia.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense. Great down the line shot there by Mauricio Zilata.
So yeah. So for those that you don't, know who might be looking at Mercado's profile,
We had a timeout there.
Yep, we got a timeout. We'll come back. We'll come back to that thought.
Yeah, let's take a short break. We'll pay for the broadcast a little bit. We'll be back on IRT Live.
The gearbox leather sticks to my hand like it is my skin.
The best feeling in the world. You pull that thing out of the package and you can kind of just feel it still molded into the way they packaged it.
It's honestly is one of the best feelings ever. You put the new glove and you're like, I got this. It's so light and so like comfortable that I feel like I'm playing with my bare hand.
The grip is a lot better, so I love having new gloves.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our Tier 5 Severna Park Racquetball and Fitness Club. This is the 2021 Wintergreen Classic Pro-Am IRT Tier 5. Momo Zalata with a 6-0 lead. Good timeout for Mario. So,
wow.
Todd, you were talking about the website?
Yeah, I was talking about the website. During the break, I pulled up one of the ways that I like to look at
that was a beautiful ace serve right there. That almost looked like a skid.
Yeah.
Like he had a lot of pace on that ball.
So,
might be the racket.
So, bringing this back to what we're looking at right here. Right now, we're looking at an upset in the making. These two players have played 4 times in Tier 1 events. Oops.
Good reset there.
Nice shot. Look, these guys have played 4 times on tour. Mario's beaten them all 4 times.
So you're saying it would be an upset?
This would be an upset. However, both of these two players have longtime DC area ties. Mario lived in the DC area for a number of years. Mauricio Momo, this is essentially his home court. He lives, a few miles away from here, but plays here often. These two players know each other well. They're good buddies. They're playing doubles together.
They work together.
So
what an ugly return right there.
So sometimes talent can be your talent may not necessarily matter when you have players that know each other really well like these two.
Yeah. And I can't say that I can remember if Mario is like a fast starter or a slower. So that was flat.
That was a nice shot.
Out of midair, about 36 feet. I can't say that Mario's a slow starter. I don't recall that. So I'm trying to think back to some of his matches. That's a screen serve, but not called and played. So can you pull up what is Momo Zalata's like best win? What do you think his best win is? It would probably be what's the highest seed of a person that he's who's the best player he's ever beat?
Well, that's a good question. Let's look up first.
Flat, side out. Zalata.
So I'm going to look up Zalata's best showing in a tournament, which is a report that you can run on the Pro Racquetball Stats site.
.com. Don't forget, let's give the information. There's 2.
So he's made 2 quarters in his career, both in 2015. One time he lost to Alvaro, and the other time he lost to
Mercado.
Mario Mercado. So in order to make the quarters, that means he had to get an upset in the 16s. So let's see. So he beat Charlie Pratt. in 2015.
That ball is really skidding off Zalata's serve.
And he also has a win again over Charlie Pratt. So, so Charlie Pratt was seeded 6th in that event. Remember, Charlie Pratt, longtime vet, top eight player. So those are probably, without looking at his whole match history, I would put those as two of his obviously his two best pro showings.
Quarterfinals in a Tier 1. That's a nice feat. 9 serving 1 on that head pen scoreboard. I want to say hi to a lot of friends. We got a lot of people down in Bolivia watching. Javi Far fans watching.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was a couple guys from Costa Rica. People are sending me messages. Want to say hi. Want to shout out as many of our players, as many of our fans as possible. Want to thank you guys for tuning in. One of my friends, Jonathan Mendel's also watching online. I want to say hi to him. That is another flat cross-court winner for Mauricio Zalata.
Yeah, he is on fire.
He is swinging that stick well in this match. Coming from the Maryland stables, we're gonna turn this into horse racing.
Well, I'll tell you some interesting.
That is what a serve!
Not a bad dig by.
Ooh, he was on it almost.
Yeah. So here's a bit of interesting information for those of you that don't know Momo. For those of you who watched the Pro Tour in the mid-'90s, watch his stance when he sets up for this drive serve. Right there, his arm motion. See that? He kind of brings his elbow back a little bit, and then he makes the swing.
Ace.
Those mechanics, that is Dan Fowler all the way. And that is the result of a lot of training that he did with Dan Fowler, who is from the Maryland, who grew up and played out of the same area and was one of basically the best player that the DC area has produced from a Pro Tour perspective on the men's side. Nice shot.
Not a good return from Mercado.
So you can see a lot of the Dan Fowler game in Mauricio's game. Yep, that one got away from him. But this is great. These guys played in Atlanta in January, a 2-game win for Mercado. Before that, the last time they played was in Laurel in September of 2019 in a match that went tiebreaker.
So I was watching Court 2 before. This is game point number 1 for Mauricio Zalata. I was watching the other quarterfinal match on Court 2 with Garay and Maurice Miller, and I'm telling you, Garay is hitting absolute bombs.
Yeah.
Bombs on the drive serve.
I believe that Garay might have the most power on tour. One of the things you asked me about, stats in the last broadcast, I would love to see the radar gun, the speed gun out here on a regular.
It doesn't work as well. We used it in a couple places.
Yeah.
In Arizona, there was a guy that brought one, and Kane hit a ripping drive serve and it registered like 86 or something.
Yep.
So because it's picking up the arm motion and not the actual ball, and I don't know how the baseball gun works if they actually shoot it as the ball's coming in. That ball skipped in. You know what I mean? Like the baseball gun, they kind of click. I think they click it, or they put it in a spot where the ball's traveling, and the racquetball court is small, so I think it was picking up arm speed.
Yeah. Well, they need the same kind of technology that they use in tennis, which is called Hawkeye, or which they use in baseball, which used to be called Pitch FX, and now would be StatCast. There's your game.
Game 1 in the books. Zalata takes it 15-1.
15-1. Let just pause our story here. That was very unexpected. I mean, Mario's got to really regroup right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So get back to your point. Hawkeye is the name of the.
So those technologies, they don't get distracted by the arm motion. Or think about in tennis. They have the same problem in tennis. I don't want to see the speed of the racket head. I want to see the speed of the ball off the racket. But with enough technology and enough investment, they can isolate the ball.
We need to figure out how we can get these people in our studio, in our wheelhouse. Whether it's if it's money, What's the cost going to be? Maybe it's a crowdfunding project.
Yeah. You know, at the very least, you know, back in the 90s, they used to have players on the regular get on the gun. They would essentially have the operator on the court, and the players would hit a serve towards them, towards the back, in order to gauge, you know, the speed of the ball and not get distracted by the player or the racket. You know, and back then they were registering speeds in the 150 to 160 range for these players. We hear a lot of urban legends in our sport about, well, whoever hit the ball the hardest. You know, was it Egan Inouye's 191? Was it Conine? Was it Brian Fredenberg? You know, Tim Doyle is well known for his power. You know, Swain and Kane and
Chris Crowder.
Chris Crowder
He hit the ball a
could
ton.
really bring it.
There was a lot behind that swing.
Yeah, there's these players out there, and it's just all the stuff of urban legends. You know, it's almost like, how fast could Bob Feller throw a fastball? Well, we don't have any idea because he pitched in the 40s.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same problem there. I want to see our current players.
But the ball is exactly the same as it is today in the 40s. So they say.
So they say. You know, but a guy like Garay, bringing this back to a guy like Garay, you know, right now you can hear the difference in the way that he makes contact with that ball.
It's noticeable.
And it's the same sound you hear when Kane hits the ball and when he really puts a power into it. And there's a couple other players on tour that are putting that kind of speed into it as well. One of these days we'll get somebody with a radar gun out here, and maybe we can have a little competition.
We shall see. So we'll take a very quick break. Be back for the start of Game 2 right here on IRT Live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So Game 2, Zalata starts out.
Well, that might have been a short serve. Did we?
A lot of players hitting that sidewall here on this championship court. We saw the, I don't know if you watched Troy and Dylan's match last night.
I did.
Or if you watched a little bit of it today. But, I mean, Troy was missing the line a lot, hitting that sidewall.
Yeah. You know what I'm seeing so far? I know that we've been, talking about something besides the match for a little bit of it here. But obviously we see Mercado missing a lot, but I see Momo really hitting pinches. I mean, when he gets his opportunity, he's really burying those pinches. We talked in the last broadcast about players who pinch a lot versus pass a lot. Right now I'm seeing a player who's pinching a lot and really putting it down.
But they're winners. They're winners.
Yeah, and putting it down.
So I want to say out to Steve Hackman in the chat box. Steve, I'm going to tell you, who knew? I knew. I knew Todd Boss was a great announcer.
Yeah. Here, I have another bit of useless information for you. So, and this... I want
to say real quick to Rob Salerno, the score was correct. It was a 15-1.
Yeah.
So the money line is moving in Game 2. We're trying to get a hold of DraftKings, a couple of those betting parlors to get on racquetball. It's just not working out well.
Well, the facility we're in is right around the corner from Maryland Live. Kind of a newer casino up here in the Baltimore area. We could go and pitch them.
Wow, a little nice heat serve off of Mercado. Yeah. Ooh, but the ball stuck to that side wall.
So, fun fact about Mauricio. And this kind of is a personal story as well. So he grew up in the D.C. area, and I was a longtime player and a club pro in this area. So I ran into Mauricio one time at a tournament, and when he was an adult, and he was probably in his early 20s, and he comes up to me, he's like, "You gave me my first racquetball lesson."
Lesson?
And I was like, "What?" Apparently, I used to give lessons at a little rec center in Northern Virginia here and there, and I gave a lesson to him. His mom brought him when he was 5 or 6. I'm dating myself right now. But yeah, I gave him his first racquetball lesson. And apparently I did such an amazing job. You can see the results of all my work right here.
I'm going to go with that's a big, big no, Todd Boss. But what a great shot by Mercado. Let's move this conversation
We're
along.
we're making the production staff laugh on that one.
Yeah. This is a great facility.
Great shot.
There's a lot of power behind that shot.
I mean, that is that's a short hop off a Nick lob and just buried. That is an incredibly difficult shot to hit consistently.
So we were talking to Salimo about, I don't know, yesterday or the day, actually yesterday when we were setting up, and he's like, I'm going to bring a tier 1 here. So players get ready. Maryland, get ready.
That's awesome.
Because this club is pretty good for, look at this, Momo's going to be able to get this.
Wow.
And Mercado can't get a racket on it. It was right at him. He wasn't expecting a terrible shot like that.
That's tough. That's super tough. Great recovery. Was able to set his feet and get a good shot, get a good swing on that. That is really tough to do. More often than not, players get back there and they can't set their feet and they just flail at a ball.
So you're a Maryland guy. What a good pickup there by Mercado. Who is Val Rogalino?
So I was gonna say this is the first time I've seen his name here. So Val is a longtime benefactor of racquetball in the area. He has been either the president of or on the board of the Maryland Washington Racquetball Association for 35, 40 years, something ridiculous like that. Him and Warren Riecki, who has since moved out of the area. I think he's moved out of the area, or maybe for part-time anyway. These guys have helped build Maryland racquetball. They were integral parts in all the programming, especially at this club. This club has been here for 40 years, and it's an 8-court facility that they've taken a couple of the courts away recently, so it's down to 6 playing courts. But this has always hosted top-level racquetball, and a lot of that is because Val has been the tournament director to bring it here.
Well, I'll tell you, some clubs, they take out the championship court, and I'm glad to see that this facility. Listen, it's a known fact that courts are going at certain gyms. Real estate is expensive, and they can put, 10, 12 machines, a second floor, so 50 members can use this space in the hour that 4 racquetball players can use. So, from a business standpoint, I understand it. There's a beautiful facility in New Jersey. They took out the beautiful championship court. But take out the back court.
Yeah, really. Well, the thing about this is, and I don't know if the crowd can see or has seen the layout of this court. We are essentially standing at the second on the upper level. We're looking down a set of, bleachers, probably 10, 12 rows of seats that then front this court. Well, so if they were going to take this court out, they'd have to basically redesign the entire building.
Oh, because of the
They'd have to, it would be a waste. But
good pickup. Ooh.
And I was just talking to Steve Graham, who is on staff here and helps with the racquetball programming. And this club just went in under new management, new owners, and these owners, this is the first time they're seeing tournament racquetball here, and they're excited.
They were loving it. He was telling me yesterday.
Yeah, you look around, and this is. I don't want to say that this is. Well, it's just a tier 5, because we have a ton of really top level players here. But this is the first time they've seen top racquetball, and they're excited.
This is a
nice shot. That was good.
This is a post-COVID tier 5, which they have a little more heat. So one of the things, Todd, that you're going to see too, and hopefully. Your pro racquetball stats will catch up to them. We're going to have some smaller tournaments, and we're going to broadcast them. We have a way that if you're having a small satellite, we have a way to bring the broadcast crew. Obviously, there is an expense, but it's manageable. We work with the facility. Depends on where, when, and what's necessary. And we're going to have a Tier 3 in Monterrey, Mexico. It was supposed to be a Tier 1, and then it dropped down to a Tier 2, and now it's down to a Tier 3. But it's going to stay a Tier 3. And they're going to build up a 3-year program. So they're going to have a 3 this year and a 1 next year, and then a Grand Slam.
That's awesome.
And the crew, his name is Alfredo. He has it's a place called Impact Hub. They help with they help young racquetball players in business, learn business.
Tell me the city again.
It's in Monterrey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They actually flew me down there about a month ago, and now it's 7-0 as we take a timeout. But let's get back to. So they flew me down there to look at the Sports Tourism Bureau. Flew me down there for a weekend to look at the facility, at the state. They took me out to some of the places because, in their opinion, they said if we have an event that's broadcasted here, now you can talk about our city, and it's 100% true because what happens? We fly into a city, we go to a gym, we go to a hotel, and an airport.
Yeah.
And we can talk about Bolivia. We had an amazing event in Bolivia. I couldn't tell you one thing. I was at the gym, the hotel, and the airport every day.
Yeah.
We even ate at the hotel, and we ate at the gym. So I have to hats off to the Sports Tourism Bureau in Monterrey for facilitating that. And I'd love to do that. Love to see more of the city so that, again, it enhances the broadcast. It's going to enhance our production. But it's just a good thing.
So from my thinking, I think we need more programming in Mexico. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I do understand why we don't have as much programming in Mexico. But, with so many players on tour, and so many important players on tour, hailing from Mexico, and it's the same thing on the women's side. Where the majority of the top 10 is now on the female side.
A lot of the top women are just international.
But I think we need to see more tournaments held in Mexico, in Bolivia. On the women's side again, and even on the men's side, we have a bunch of players that play internationally for Colombia. We have regulars that come from Costa Rica. Every couple times a year, you get the Guatemalans that come over.
So that brings me to the next point. So the guy that's running the tournament in Monterrey, he wants to do it in other cities in Mexico. So we're going to do that through the Sports Tourism Bureau, and he's also working with Felipe Camacho on doing events like that in Costa Rica.
I think that's great.
So you'll see that. Alex Landa puts on there's an Alex Landa tournament in Juarez. Again, border cities, they're great because it's very cheap. It's cheaper for the American, not only fan, but players, the guys that live in the States now, to travel to because they can fly to a U.S. city and cross the border.
Right.
So
right.
let's really focus here on game 2 because this could end pretty quick for Mercado. And there's another bullet serve, but
I think he's calling a skip or
he's calling a wet ball and a serve. But I saw those in game 1. I honestly think it's the way Mom was hitting the ball.
Joe immediately called it as well, so it's not like this is too
so
controversial.
He did call?
Yeah,
he did call a wet ball.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was slicing it or not, to be honest.
That looked like a pretty. I don't think that he imparted too much spin on that. That was a flat drive serve down the line. I mean, for what it's worth, it is wet outside. It is raining, and sometimes you get a little bit of humidity.
Yeah. Salado will take it in stride. Now, wouldn't that be second serve, or is it just a total redo? I think. Z serve though.
Oh, that's nice. Probably a little bit of a excuse me shot there, but he got it away. Yeah, he apologizes for that.
One of the coolest Mario Mercado moments I have is obviously the American Irish tournament in Bolivia.
Yep.
The club is down the block from the house where Mario grew up.
Oh, yeah?
And where his family lives.
Ooh,
That's a
got
good
that.
get. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought he got it.
Yeah, he got it. And
Referee said no, and he said no.
and Momo said, "I don't care. I'm going to roll the next one out."
His parents were able to come watch him play for the first time.
Is that so?
And it was really cool. I met
That's
his
neat.
dad, and the day before the tournament, at the pro level,
Sure.
they've seen him play a lot, obviously in Bolivia. But see an IRT pro level event, in there,
Ooh.
right down the block from their house. They literally walked there.
That's pretty neat. That's a cool story. And Mario played, if memory serves, he played really well in that event, didn't he?
He went to the semifinals.
Yeah.
He should have beaten Rocky, to be honest. I think he had it that weekend. He took out Perea pretty easy in the quarters. That was another bullet that looked like you want to say wet ball, but I'm gonna go with no. He's slicing it.
He is. No, what you're seeing here is a very good player who is clicking on all levels. Playing another player who is just not quite. Mario just doesn't seem like he's quite hitting his lines right now.
No, and that's he's got to serve better there.
It's interesting. We're seeing a lot of drive serves to each other's forehands, and you know what that comes from? As a little bit of familiarity. These guys know each other's game, and they're not afraid to go after and hit that kind of a shot. That's a nice recovery right shot right there.
No, what I see is what I see from a lot of players just in general. They're starting to realize that players really focus on the backhand, especially the drive serve, and that forehand serve is just as good because you got to guess.
Yeah. You're going to see a lot of pros that if they decide to lob on the second serve, they're going to the forehand. They're hitting a lob to the forehand for two reasons. Same reason, what you just said. We get so used to hitting backhands in this game that you're not as advanced sometimes on the forehand. But more to the point, it's harder to short hop and skip or short hop a forehand lob. That's a nice shot right there.
Well, that's what Troy was doing to Dylan yesterday, giving him that lob to the backhand, and Dylan was just stepping in and crushing it.
Yep.
He did miss some, but if we go back to the tape and we say, okay, maybe 30% he was missing, but he was killing 70.
Nice serve.
That was a nice serve by Zalata. Zalata is going to – I have to say this now. Zalata will move on, Todd. I don't really think Mario can come back.
Oh, that's tough.
And look what he does.
Boom. Yeah. So Mario wants you to continue to have doubt in him, because every time you doubt him, he rolls a service return out.
And I will. I like that.
So just as an FYI, you might notice that we talked about Mario being from Bolivia, but he's wearing a shirt that says Colombia.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, he did grow up and he played junior. He represented Bolivia at a junior level, and then he eventually switched over probably in the 2014, 2015 timeframe to represent Colombia internationally.
That was a
Nice
winner.
Mario is also one of those players that when he gets in international competitions, he really shines.
So
Oh,
you just saw an ace before. Oh, a nice big skip there.
Big skip.
Yesterday again, going back to the match we had, aces were plentiful coming from the racket of Dylan Pruitt and from Troy. And we're seeing a lot here.
Yeah.
Is it the club? Is it the wetness outside? Is it the water? What's our reasoning? Diving shoot right there. Nice play.
I'd have to go down. Maybe in between points, I'm going to go down and
feel
it. In 2002, and I only know this because I was at the club. There was a tier 1 where the courts were so wet that they literally told the players, okay, just everyone gets equal points. We'll compete it for the money, but everyone gets equal points because these courts they were unplayable. And so sometimes that happens. That was a very weird.
It was here?
That was in McLean, Virginia.
Okay.
It was a weird situation where the club, it was super wet that weekend, so we already had a ton of humidity, and the club, in their infinite wisdom, had decided to wax the courts.
Wax?
They decided to wax the courts the week before the event because they wanted the players to be able to play on these nice, shiny new courts. Well, the wax and the humidity made it like a skating rink. and it was really, really bad.
Well, this just in, Eduardo Garay will face off against Portillo at 7 p.m. He took out Maurice Miller 15-9, 15-1. Garay hitting. Let me tell you, this Portillo Garay match, I'm going to say it's almost like a finals.
I mean, looking ahead, I can't wait for that match. That is a contrast in styles.
7 p.m. here on the IRT live.
That'll be fun. I might have to stick around for that one, Dean.
You better. I'm hoping. We have 2 tonight, 7 and 8.
That's right.
Islander game's at 8 also, just in case any of the fans are wondering about that.
Well,
it'll be on right here.
Well, the 8 o'clock match, coincidentally, is another interesting battle. It's going to be 2 local boys in Franco and Pruitt.
Dylan, I don't know if Dylan moved on yet. I don't know if they they're playing.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're playing right now.
Yeah, the winner of that match will play the winner of this match.
That still could be interesting. You still could have 2 Maryland natives playing in that match, depending on how the results work out. So that'll be great.
I mean, Dylan was serving extremely well yesterday. I don't see if you want to say yesterday, Troy was making a ton of mistakes. If we were counting, and I don't think that you're going to see those type of mistakes from Sebastian.
No,
Franco.
not out of Franco. Not out of a guy who's won a Tier 1 and who's been in the top 10 for the better part of a decade.
Wet ball on serve.
Interesting. I mean, it's not that wet because, look, Mario looked at the ball and saw no wet spot. He didn't even bother to hit it to dry it off. They may be dealing with some moisture up at the top, because he hit a lob nick that bounced way up high, and it just skids a little bit.
A beautiful serve by Mercado. Why not go down the line?
Well,
it was a winner anyway.
I mean, he get paid off for him. Yep.
Here comes the Mercado train. How many people from Bolivia are watching? So, yes, Eric Cuevas is right. It is a Momo Zalata Formula Flow racket prototype.
That's cool. Well,
he's got 2 different weights. He's got about 4 rackets.
Well, it is definitely he's definitely a good playing advertisement for his racket right now, because he's burying those opportunities in the front court. I mean, Mercado knows precisely where that ball is going, and he still can't get to it.
Yeah.
And he's one of the faster guys on tour.
They're swiping up that floor. Zurich towel timeout, maybe. Well, just a cleanup.
Maybe it was a Zurich feet squeaking timeout.
Mercado is, I believe Mercado is on the Zurich crew.
Nice.
Ace Zalata.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, Mario's dug himself too big of a hole. If Momo can hit those and get free points, this game's he's not gonna be able to. He's not gonna have a chance to come back.
I think Zalata was digging the hole because he was just hitting winners. I don't think there's anything Mario could have done. He wasn't making errors. There's a lot of serves were just really good.
Yeah, he is. Oh, but you know what? Oh. That's a great recovery and a great get. Man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I thought Mario wanted to blast that ball.
I think Mario was about to launch that ball into the crowd.
He wanted to hit that ball into Laurel. Referee Joe Kelley. 13-4, serving
13-4. I think they're going to do a timeout, or either that or they're going to dry.
They're just going to do a towel.
Yeah,
we're going to get the referee for the semifinal matches. We'll have a speaker. We got some work to do after this match. We have a couple of hours. It's 4. We have till 7.
Yeah.
3 hours, so we'll have a Red Bull. We'll have some production meeting.
We'll get on the same page. We'll stop disagreeing with each other on the live stream.
Disagreements are good.
You know, Dean will stop saying, Todd, you don't know what the heck you're talking about.
I'd never said that. So Freddie from Restrung Magazine, who writes an amazing, his articles are just, they're amazing. They're always spot on.
No. Oh, I thought that was flat.
Freddie, what do you think? Freddie in the chat box, what do you think of Zalata here today as he serves for his first match point? 14 serving 4. Zalata in the box. Goes for the jam and a wrap. Mercado grabs
hit.
that one.
Same shot he's hitting all day.
Winner.
Man. Yeah, I mean, Mario acknowledges just how comprehensive a victory he just witnessed. That was...
So Zalata will take on either Pruitt or Franco at 8. And on court 1, we were going to have Portillo Garay.
Portillo Garay. Yeah. So that was a pretty amazing match. I mean, you don't see top 10 touring pros lose 1 and 4.
No.
You see them lose 1 and 4 to Kane, or to maybe to Landa and Del Rosa and your top tier guys and Alvaro. You don't see them losing 1 and 4 to, part-time touring pros.
But Momo, Momo was playing amazing.
He was.
I mean, really. Yeah, we'll get him over here. We'll bring him right in. Why not? Again, what's something that you're going to ask Momo Zalata?
I want to ask him if he went in there with a game plan, knowing he has a ton of familiarity with with that opponent. They're buddies. Did he come in with a game plan and how did he execute on that game plan?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We'll get Zalata over here as we're setting up for that. But Todd, you're going to stick around. I want you to ask. I want to see some of the questions you're going to ask him. Momo, come on, bring yourself in here. And we're good. We're good. Don't worry about the small things here. So, Momo Zalata, congratulations on a well-executed game plan. Was it the racket?
Yeah, I was just going to say that we made a few modifications to it.
I think I don't know if I hear him, so let's see. We're just checking audio. If you're in the chat box, did you hear Momo or no? So while we're getting some irregularities out. So
does it unplug maybe?
Yeah, wait. We're here.
A little sweaty.
No.
It's all right.
What did we unplug?
That was the mic.
Oh, the mic? Oh, this is the short one.
All right.
Okay.
Back.
Now he's got the headset on. So, Momo, was it the racket? Because there are people in the chat box asking,
wondering
what was it?
Yeah, I mean, I felt really comfortable with the racket today, so I was feeling good, man. It was one of those days. I haven't played like that in a long time, and my serves were in consistently, and I think the hardest part about it was just trying to stay focused on not overhitting or not trying to do anything crazy. Just try to play a nice, solid, clean game. That was my focus pretty much, and I felt comfortable, and I'm glad I was able to do it in 2 games.
You were serving bombs.
Yeah,
I will say that.
Yeah, it felt pretty good.
So did you go into that? You and Mario are good buddies, and you have a lot of familiarity with his game. Did you go in with a game plan? Like, were you thinking I'm going to try to work up drive to his forehand? Because we saw a lot of drive serves to the forehand.
Yeah. No, I've been working on that serve probably this whole year and a half that we had off. Because my serve to the right was always horrible. It always used to catch the sidewall, and sometimes I used to overhit it too much. So I kind of worked on that, trying to take some speed off. It's weird because I always have a game plan against Mario, which is Z serves, more splats, things like that, and I didn't do any of that today. It was completely opposite, down the lines, cross courts, and straight in drives, and it worked.
I mean, I saw you make and just bury your pinch. Pinch to the forehand corner over and over and over, to the point where he knew it was coming and he still couldn't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something you've been working on as well?
Yeah, a little bit too. I think it's a lot of conditioning. I don't know if you were able to tell, but I was trying to get as low as I possibly could, and that helped keep the ball low. So that kind of Yeah.
There were some questions out there regarding wet ball or something
Mhm.
like that. Were you seeing the court being wet? Me and Todd were wondering because we were seeing some serves. I think it was from yesterday when Dylan was cutting them and
Mhm.
Troy was sitting down there. You were in the broadcast with us. It almost looked like a wet ball, but I'm like, I just think he's slicing it.
Yeah, a little bit. We had a few kind of by the short line, and then the sidewall started getting a little wet on that second game. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
So you were you purposely trying to put a little bit of a spin onto the ball, or were you still just trying to focus on flat and executing your lines?
I guess a little bit. I wasn't focused on it, but I think just the way my swing is coming around, I was doing it automatically, but I wasn't really doing it on purpose. But there was a little bit of undercut.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So give a shout out about this racket because people were asking. I mean, I have to ask you. You know, when can people see them?
Yeah, so I guess we got to talk about it now. We were trying to keep it a secret for a while, but
secret's out.
the
Sorry.
secret's out.
There
so
you go.
Yeah, so this is it. There's a new company in racquetball now, and it's Formula Flow. There's a new racket coming out, so this is it right here. This is going to come out in two weights, 170 and 160. We've been working on this for about 2 years, so it's been, we've made a lot of modifications to it.
Who's
this
this
is,
we?
Formula
Me
Flow.
and Todd were not in it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, me, the players. I mean, a lot of the players got to hit these rackets for the last year. We sent them to South America. We sent them here around the country, just to try to get as much feedback as we could, and make sure they were going to be strong, they were going to be comfortable to handle. Like, there's so many things that go into making a racket that we learned a lot. So this is it. This is going to be called the Formula Flow 1. So this is going to come out probably in about 3 months. So they're going into production right now.
Very cool.
I don't know. You might have to change the name. I don't know. I think car racing might have that,
Yeah.
that phrase going. Not
Yeah.
sure. But congratulations, Momo. So now you're going to play the winner of Dylan, who you saw yesterday, and Sebastian Franco. Do you have a preference?
I'd like to play Dylan because I think he's going to be a little tired.
But,
well said. Well said.
Yeah, but I mean, Sebastian is tough. I mean, whoever comes out on top. I mean, I know if we play Sebastian, it's going to be a tough match. We've played many times before, and I want to say I think I beat him the last time we played, maybe 3 years ago, 4 years
Todd's
ago.
going to have to pull
yeah,
that
we
one
might
up.
have to go to the stats on that one.
Yeah, Crystal City, I think.
Okay.
Maybe.
Very good.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
get dried off, get rested up.
I will. Thank you,
I,
guys.
I hope you don't mind if I keep your racket. I assume that was a gimme, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Today's other winner is Momo Zalata, Dean Bear, Todd Boss. Thank you for tuning in. Guys, once again, tonight, 7 p.m., Portillo Garay. That's going to be bombs away. You'll catch it right here on IRT Live. Todd, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you're around at 7 still. I think you're going to be because it's a match you want to watch.
Absolutely.
Thank you for stopping by. Big shout out for our production manager, Pablo Farhe. This doesn't happen without him. So for the entire crew here for our first two quarterfinal matches,
Nice win.
we will see you a little bit later on IRT Live.